Hello there, good evening, and welcome to your superstation, Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Enimoa Enim Ado, and this is Strong and Sassy. I hope you've had a good day. Today's been kind of quiet, so I hope that you're okay. I'm sure you're driving home from work, so maybe a little tired. So try and stay awake, get home safely, but we're here to keep you company. So today we're having a conversation about lazy men. Shout outs to George Quay, who inspired this topic, not because he's lazy, but because he talked about it. We went out to some sort of sit-down thing, and Esinam, you remember, he was talking about lazy men and why some women put up with lazy men. So this show is dedicated to George Quay. You can catch him on the Late Night Express Mondays to Wednesdays from 10 p.m. Good evening, George. So I have... this week, I don't know what to call you. Esinam.
My name.
It's not descriptive enough.
Wow.
Esinam is here. Esinam Batali. Miss Batali. Today is Show Your Stomach Wednesday here on Strong and Sassy. Anyway, so you definitely want to go on Facebook because you want to be watching us live. You don't want to be listening to us. But if you're driving, please, you can't be on Facebook and driving at the same time. But if you're home, watch us on Facebook. We're live and interactive. I'd love for you to get involved. Your comments, your thoughts, your questions, and all of that. So, Esinam Batali is here. And then for the first time on Strong and Sassy, we're welcoming a new assassin to the team. I'll let you introduce yourself because it's your first time. So just tell us a little bit of who you are.
Well, thank you very much. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year to all your listeners out there. You are doing a very good job. I listen to you all the time. Joy is my number one go-to station for information, education,
entertainment. Nice.
So I'm so happy to be here today.
That's amazing.
Yes, my name is Harriet Nate.
Harriet. Can we call you Harry?
Yeah, anything you want to call me. You can call me Na.
Okay, Na.
Right.
Nah, Harry.
Wow.
Okay,
my name is Harriet Nate. I am a journalist. I host diplomatic affairs on Pan-African television, and I am also in charge of HAL Solutions, HAL.
Okay.
Everything media, public relations, and content development, authentic content development. So that's what we do. So
ACD.
basically, this is me. This is what I do.
Well, welcome.
Yeah,
and thank you for
so
making
much.
the time to join us tonight. Very
Thank
nice
you.
to have you. So I was telling somebody about the topic tonight, and I was like, oh, we're talking about dating with lazy men. And then he asked me, so who is a lazy man? And I was like, isn't that obvious? But then I got to thinking, because maybe there are different definitions for different people. All right, so Isinam, let's start.
But who do you think a lazy man?
This is my show. I'm the one asking the questions. You cannot ask the invigilator. Very good. Esinam, this is Strong and Sassy. You're so welcome. Love you so much. Who's a lazy?
I think that lazy is relative, highly relative, or it's subjective. But for me, a lazy person is someone who finds no motivation to do anything. Like, they know what they need to do for themselves. They have plans. But it's not just that. It's not just the unmotivated person, but it's more of what they do as a result of not being motivated. A lazy person is someone who is not doing their best, but doesn't see that they're not doing their best, and they tend to blame other people for their inability to achieve their own goals. So you'd find that they make excuses a lot for why they are where they are, and it's always someone else's fault but theirs.
Okay.
So for me, that's what sums up as a lazy person.
Okay.
Like the entity of a lazy person.
You know, your first line, which was that somebody who's not motivated and they can't do that one. It's difficult because there are also some very real mental health issues which prevents people from being. So there's depression, there's bipolar, there's all of those different things.
Dysfunction.
Hey, here we go. That's why it's now right now. Don't you come on the show? We have to come with dictionary and Google for the terms.
Executive dysfunction.
Yeah, some more.
Well, some of us are working with digital dictionaries, so we are fine.
So you be the assigned dictionarian. Because half of the phrases that she uses, we are like,
don't worry, we'll search, we'll Google them.
Some more.
Now, my listeners, some of them to text that. Last week, what was it?
I don't know.
It started with D. I don't even remember that. You've done it, I know. You say executive ding.
Executive dysfunction.
Do you want to tell us what it is?
Okay. So executive function is when your mind is able to conceive that something needs to be done, and your body quickly reacts to the notion that in response that you are supposed to do it, right? So in effect, executive dysfunction is a disconnection between your mind and your body, where your mind knows what needs to be done, is telling you what needs to be done, but your body is unable to react to it.
Okay, so what we're not here to do is to diagnose mental diseases.
Exactly.
But we do want to state that at a certain point, I think we should talk about that at some point. At a certain point, if you're with somebody and they're not motivated or they're just not, then you should maybe consider that there might be some deeper issues.
Yes.
Because people who are depressed and stuff like that find it difficult.
Yes. So people who are, a lot of neurodivergent people tend to experience executive dysfunction as one of the symptoms for their condition. So if you have people who have ADHD, executive dysfunction is part. People who have bipolar personality disorder
ED
too
is part.
It's part. Depression and anxiety disorder, executive dysfunction is also part of.
So that's not what we're talking about tonight. We're not talking about people who are struggling with some sort of mental diseases, or people who are grieving, people who are going through a really difficult time. Because all of those, sometimes your mind just needs to rest. So all those things are very valid. We're talking about the people who is I fair, I no go do.
Yes.
And especially the sponges.
Yes.
So
it's because they think that there is something there for them, like someone is supposed to do it for you, or they feel entitled to another person's money. They feel like, okay, my mother is there, my uncle is there.
Entitlement.
Basically, the thought of they themselves going through a hard time to earn something for themselves.
It's not.
No, they always find the quickest ways easiest, shortest way to do anything, basically anything, including even when you give them work. Let's say they get a job, they finally manage to get a job, and you give them a task. They are the ones who cut corners and bring you a very shoddy work that at least they've done it. Yeah, do you get it? So a lazy person is somebody who just doesn't want to take responsibility of their life. Okay,
Harriet. So first of all, usually on this show, if we talk, we'll talk. So please feel free to butt, it's just feel free to butt.
Right.
In. Yeah.
Right.
So,
will do.
So for you, who is a lazy man? Those who are asking me, we're going to do lazy women.
When I saw the topic, I was battling with myself, trying to understand it, because it falls in different contexts. Okay. Like as Nam rightly stated, it is highly relative. Somebody could be lazy at relationships, but then they are good at pursuing career. Okay. Somebody could be very lazy at initiating things, but they are pretty much good when it comes to collecting results. Okay. Who is a lazy man? Or when we talk about lazy, we're trying to define it. And I read somewhere, lazy is anyone who is not easily aroused to action or work. Anyone who is...
You lost me at aroused. Just say it anyway.
So anyone who is not easily aroused to work or action is termed as lazy. So when I say lazy is contextual, what I mean is, some people would do this, but they are very bad at that. Okay. And it depends also. They may be comfortable in certain spaces or doing some things, but also lazy at doing some things and somehow nothing at all.
I love the dimension that you bring or that you've just brought, because it actually then really challenges us to look at the different. I mean, for me, with the conversation, I was like, okay, lazy in terms of he just won't work. He's just sponging. But then there are also men who are lazy at the actual relationship, or lazy with the kids, or lazy.
But I think that boils down to priorities. If it is my priority, I'm going to put my attention on it. That means I'm going to put in the work. But if I don't see the relationship as a priority, I am most likely going to be lackadaisical about it. Like, I'm not going to give off my best. I'm going to be lazy about it. So I think when it comes to people who are deliberately lazy in certain areas, you can see that it's either they are not inspired to do anything over there, or they don't consider it a priority.
Okay. So they are not motivated.
Yes.
in any way.
It's either it's too much work. Like, I feel like a lot of people say relationships are a chore.
Yeah.
Relationships are too much work. But that is when you've not found that thing that's
the fit.
The fit that's making you want to stay wherever you are. So I think that it's about priorities on that level.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's about priorities. Like she said, some people are not motivated. Some people are just not motivated. So in this case, I think we have defined lazy, or the word lazy, it has to do with relationships. So we are not talking about career. We are not talking about being a dad. We are not talking, but we are talking about relationships. A lazy man.
We want to talk about in the relationship, but also in the setting of the home, in terms of being a provider, being a protector,
provider,
being somebody who's ambitious, somebody who's leading the family. So Esinam. Yeah. So what are some of the red flags that you think when you...
How to identify a lazy man?
Yeah.
Now, you mean lazy in terms of...
Yeah, now the lazy scope has widened.
Exactly. It needs to be narrowed.
No, let's do two. Let's do two. So let's do lazy in terms of providing and being the head of the household, the proverbial head of the household, whatever. And then lazy in terms of the relationship, because there's some great providers who are just lazy.
I think that I would not say lazy in terms of being the head of the home or something, but I would say lazy in terms of contributing their quota to the success of the home.
Hey, you that. Yes, see? Women empowerment. And
lazy
equality.
In contributing their own to the development of the family.
Yes, madam.
Right. So obviously someone who is unwilling to do their best for the relationship to survive or for the family to be okay, it's not worth being there. You can't ascribe certain titles to someone like head of the home when the person is not doing head of the home duties. It's not a title.
So you meet someone.
Right.
You meet a guy. You start dating him or whatever it is. How do you identify that he's not having a job?
Right.
He's still living with his parents, and all of that is not circumstantial. It is actually
laziness. I think that you have to be discerning. That's the first thing. Ask questions. Ask questions and do in fifi more. It's important for you to know the person that you are going to be with. So you meet the person.
So what kind of question?
So you meet the person here, like, oh, you guys are talking, you're having a chit chat. So what do you do? I've currently been out of a job for about 5 years. I've still been trying to figure out what I want to do.
Those are the
I've not been able to figure it out yet. So, I'm just trying to attend. When was the last time you did something, like even through the 5 years that you were home? That's a good question to ask. Okay, so you've been home for 5 years. When was the last time you did something remotely resembling a hobby or building a career path? Some people may not have jobs, but they may be charting a career path. That means that for now I cannot have a job. For now I have to learn.
Okay. Yeah.
For now I have to just be by myself.
I'm building the network.
and learn, build a network.
I'm not earning.
Yes, I'm not earning now. Okay, that's different. That's different from somebody. So this past 5 years, I've been trying to,
Chale, I finished school.
Like.
So a person who is full of excuses.
Excuses.
It's lazy.
And you know them by the quantity of movies they watch in a day.
I am offended.
If you text them, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm watching anime. And they will be on anime for God knows how long.
Wow.
For God knows how long. Because the person doesn't have anything else.
The animes.
No, not really. It's just an example I'm making. It's not that you don't have a job and you're looking for a job and you're not getting, and that's the reason that you're home. But even without jobs, what have you done? What have you done for yourself to make sure that you're on the path to either earning a job or having a career that will bring you some income?
Okay.
What are you doing? You know, what's the person's drive? What's the person's motivation? If you don't see any signs of that, you are in a red flag situationship. You know, you have to get yourself out there because, you see, it's subtle. And because they know that they can depend on you, if they can depend on you, it becomes, oh, I'm trying. So occasionally they'll just make you see that they're watching some YouTube videos. On a lie.
It's a
lie. Scam.
Wow.
It's a scam. Like a man be lazy. Wow,
it's enough. Harriet, do you want to give us one of what would be a red flag for you? Yeah, welcome to the world of Miss Batali.
Well, like we all agree to the fact that anybody who gives excuses is lazy. People who are not willing to pull their weight are termed as being lazy or lazy people. Anybody who doesn't see the need to make a change or add something to themselves is lazy. If you end up with a person like that, now let's not also forget that we take inspiration from each other.
Yeah.
If you are in a healthy relationship and your partner is very active or your partner is very hardworking, industrious, you know, they are ready to do anything just to bring something to the table or pursue anything just to add value to themselves, then you are inspired. Unless people who are not bothered, like they just don't care. They are too content with their lives and they are not really motivated or inspired by whatever you may be doing.
For you, laziness, lack of ambition, are they the same thing or is it a thin line?
I think there is a thin line because you can have someone who lacks ambition but is not lazy. It's only that they cannot really
level up.
Apart from leveling up, it's drawing the line between, okay, so there's this Esinam. Esinam is my friend. Esinam is doing everything to add value to herself as my friend. I see what Esinam does, and I know that she's gradually, you know, upgrading herself. But I want to do what Esinam is doing. But then again, I'm like, I think I'm fine where I am. I don't want that much. So then the ambition is, she is ambitious. Am I ambitious? I may not be ambitious. I am just simply fine with where I find myself.
So you're not lazy.
I'm not lazy, but I'm just fine with where, overly content, mediocre with where I am. And I'm just fine because I am not ambitious.
But people have different levels of contentment. Like,
no, you see, if you are content with the best you've ever done,
maybe where I am now is the best.
But it's where you think is the best you've ever done because you have not looked beyond. You see, it's the ability to see the big picture, step out of yourself and look at yourself and say, is this the best I can offer to the world?
The big picture is a problem. I don't want to see the big picture.
You don't want to see the big picture.
I'm
because you know that the big picture scares you. It scares you. You don't want to see the big picture.
I can pay my bills. I can go out once a month. I'm driving a nice small car.
So then lazy is just somebody who makes up excuses, who is not ready to pull their weight in anything, any situation. Ambition, lack of ambition is someone who feels like, I am just content by my own definition of...
And I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Or success.
As success, I'm good.
Interesting. Okay. Do you have another red flag or those are the major ones?
I mean, aside the fact that a person, you don't see any initiative and proactivity for them. Another way you can know a lazy person is when you deliberately give him something to do for you and see how fast, how efficient they deliver on it. Because you are worried that the person you are dating or you're seeing may be a lazy person. In order to confirm the theory for yourself, test it. test whether he is lazy or not. You know, okay, the person is not doing anything seriously, or they don't have a job and they are currently at home. They've told you, oh, your plans for today, I don't have anything to do, but you went to school to do accounting, so I need help with my business, my business, and I would like for you to look at my books for me, or I want to be able to pay my taxes. Can you help me with like the process, or can you research for me? They will give you excuses as to why they cannot do it.
Okay.
I read somewhere that one of the problem Africans are facing in terms of being able to scale their businesses global is because we think excellence is what we think is excellent is mediocre.
Okay.
What we see as excellent, the standard, is often,
I totally get that.
It's often mediocre.
I totally
and
get
so
that.
we take the barest minimum and we think
And
that
it's good.
it's okay,
Yeah.
it's good.
And you see that in customer service a lot,
Yep.
for example, yeah.
The ability to push hard, push yourself beyond your limits, what they call grit, like grit and grind.
Yeah.
We don't have it in this part of our world. So a lot of people, like she said, oh, he drives a small car, he does this. That's the bare minimum. That's not the limit to things you could achieve. So why not push yourself beyond that? So then, okay, if you're not willing to do that, or opportunities have not come for you to do that, why don't we research? Okay, let's say that we've researched and we couldn't find anything. Now, I'm doing something, help me with it. The person doesn't see the need to help you with what you're doing in the interim and will provide you excuses. You know that you are with a lazy person.
I want to ask you something about the grit and grind.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if this is a thing we're saying is in Africa, you know, that mediocrity for us is excellence, and we don't want to exert ourselves in terms of the grit and grind. I'm thinking about people like truck pushers. Those who sell fun ice the whole day, they are gritting and grinding.
Yeah, they are grinding.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
gritting.
well, they are pushing through. They are doing the best that they can, but it's like the cap is ignorance. Like, where do we go from that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, how about if you meet somebody who Amele, like they don't know.
The person just doesn't know.
And you know people who don't know. When I talk to them, they don't listen.
Yes.
No, but then if that's when you have to assess for yourself that, okay, this person doesn't know. I'm talking to them, they're not listening. Do I want to stay here? That's where the ultimate question comes in. Okay, the person you can meet someone who is probably broke, because I don't think anybody is poor. I think we are all just temporarily broke, and it's your decision whether to continue remaining broke or you move on. So you meet someone and the person is broke, and for example, you have more money or you earn more than they do. It's the ability for the person to say, okay, she earns more than I do, and I don't like how I'm feeling about her earning more than I do. So I'm going to work my way into surpassing her in terms of income or something. That healthy competition where the person feels like I need to better myself, add more value to myself so that I am more in the position to be that head of the family that she wants. When you talk about track pushers and stuff, most of them, it's the opportunity that is in there, right? Some of them wish they were doing other things.
So then laziness is not from a lack of opportunity.
Yes, it's not it's an inability to take advantage of the opportunity you have. It's how you don't know that this opportunity exists for you.
Or create chances for yourself.
Even for yourself, being able to create a door.
Right.
If there's no door,
Or
you
it's also
yourself
just
build a
maybe
door.
just loving your bed too much, or just the TV.
Now
or-
that's laziness.
To rest. Loving to
Now
rest
that's
in it.
laziness.
And enjoy, like, you want the life of enjoyment.
Aha, remember that was the question I was going to ask.
Uh-huh.
So what's the difference between being lazy? Let me start with Harriet. 'Cause
Okay.
being lazy and loving the soft life. Because you know the soft life is a thing. I'm all about the soft life. So
So when you say the soft life, what
I
do you
mean the social media definition of soft life.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Soft life. Islam, please define soft life for us.
Oh, baby girl treatment,
Mhm.
you know, and baby boy treatment. A life where everything is at your disposal.
Without
whatever
your-
you want
your-
to eat, you get, without you having to work for it.
Hustle for it.
No,
yourself.
I mean, working for it could be differentiated, because soft life could mean different things to different people. But the general
are spoon-fed.
consensus is somebody who maybe you are living a soft life, you are enjoying from working either too little to deserve what you have or not at all. Like you didn't work at all.
So you are living large at the expense of others. Can I put it that way?
It's not negative.
It's not negative.
People offer you the soft life.
But
there are some people who are offered the soft
Or
life.
they portray themselves as soft lifers. So
Right.
when you come, you know that this person is.
For some people, they were born into a soft life. You can't
Well,
blame
if
them
you
for
were
being.
born with a
silver
a
spoon in your
friend
mouth.
of mine would say a golden spoon in your mouth. I mean, it's not a crime, is it?
Yeah.
We also know people who were born with a silver spoon in their mouths and they still go hungry at a point
at a
because
point, yeah.
The wealth or whatever it wasn't sustainable, or something might have happened for them to have lost access to all the goodies on the table and all of that. So then laziness is somehow, I would say, is sickness.
You feel like
I
that?
think so. It's
Spiritual sickness or physical
just that, that's
sickness?
interesting. Now, there we go.
No, I'm just asking. I mean,
It's just some people just don't want to work. Now, Esina made a submission on the need for someone to talk to you when they feel like you are not pulling your weight or they feel like you are not doing much, and they talk to you. So for some people, it is ignorant. So it is either they don't know, they do not know, and so until you wake them up, they still may be, sleeping, and they don't even realize until someone says to them, hey, I think you can do this with what you're doing. Then again, we cited the case of a truck pusher or someone who does, most of these guys on the streets. For all you know, probably they were home doing nothing. This person might have found himself at home doing nothing with no opportunities, doesn't have anything to trigger any opportunity for them, and they had to survive.
Yeah.
So for them to be able to think to the extent of going out there and truck pushing and getting their daily bread and at least taking care of, the people they are responsible for or all the people that they care for. That alone is, making a move and wanting change. And I believe when another opportunity presents itself,
To be
they some of them would take it.
yeah.
But some also, as soon as they move from the house and they are truck pushing, they are fine. Like for me, I think this is where I want to be. I think I'm fine. I don't want to do much.
But
If
then
I'm
that's
getting
not
what
really
I want.
laziness
So that's
anymore.
not laziness
Yeah.
anymore. But then again, when you look at someone whom you are pointing all the opportunities to, and say, look, you can do this. I think you can do this. You have what it takes
And they just
to
don't
trigger
want
change.
to.
And they just don't want to. Now that's the problem. That's a serious problem.
Yeah.
Because you are home, like you are living soft life, as we put it,
At somebody else's
at
expense.
somebody else's expense. Now think of the worst thing that could happen.
Question. Men who are lazy, who do we blame? Do we blame them? Do we blame
Being
their
lazy is a
mothers?
choice.
Do you blame... And I'm asking this question because I'm thinking about how African women raise their sons.
Well, there is research to suggest that, and I've seen it somewhere, but I don't want to be general about it, so I am going to speak to the fact that it was a research that I saw, that stereotypically Ghana men are seen as men who like to stay in their mother's house for as long as possible, for as long as they can, and would never want to move out. And so it is seen as they like to enjoy from women, but they don't like to put in much.
Okay.
So you go to Jamestown and you see a man who has 3 kids with 3 different women, and he lives in his mother's
Can I
house.
just say that this is research that Esinam is quoting? She's
Yes.
not quoting her own point of
No.
view, just quoting the research.
Yes.
Okay.
And they interviewed the guy James, and he said he had three baby mamas, and he had kids with each one of them, 2 kids with one with another, and one with the last woman.
So 4.
And he lives in his mother's house.
Wow. Okay.
Do you
Four
get it?
kids, 3 different women.
4
still
kids with
lives
3
his
different
mother.
women, and he lives with his mother's house. Now, all his 3 baby mamas are working in different fields and providing for them, for the family,
children.
for the children, and he goes to whomever he chooses house to eat
And
every
sleep.
night and sleep. This person,
I'm sorry, what does James look like? Does he have something that we don't see and we're not understanding?
maybe it's a deep cultural thing that they
I
were
was just
attempting
coming
to
to
explain.
that.
That
I
it's
was
a
just coming
deep
to
cultural
that.
thing that they were trying to explain.
Yes, I was just coming to
However, that is to me someone who is lazy,
More than that.
because you have 4 kids living in different homes. You don't know how they sleep. You don't know how they wake up. You don't know what they eat.
School fees.
You don't know how their fees are paid. You don't contribute anything. All you do is to look nice and be called a fine boy.
Yeah, you contribute yourself on a nightly basis every 3 nights.
Culture. In this case, I think culture plays a huge, part in all of this, because culture, the Gans, they have their culture. The Ashantis, because I was born and bred in the Ashanti region, Kumasi, so I seem to kind of relate with the way they go about things culturally. For them, I think Omudi and Nadia, Omundi Ijadia is the matrilineal system kind of family thing for them. Whereas you have most of us from the South, like, is the patrilineal system for them as well. So you know that when it comes to that, because Wafa die, so when Wafa gets it, Wafa wants to ensure that you are also groomed to the level where you can also provide for yourself and continue with the legacy of helping other Wafas who, may be dependent on you. Wafa
I have
say,
never understood this concept.
Yeah, that's the matrilineal system when it comes to the Ashantis. I do not know the other tribes who also follow.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Trajectory. But when it comes to the Gans, for instance, of course, I think it's the patrilineal system. You are not the first to have actually, mentioned this. I've heard it. Well, I am Gadangbe, but I am not so much involved when it comes to how things play out culturally from that side. But it's something that is, it's like a public knowledge, or if I can put it that way.
Yeah.
It's like public knowledge. I'm
It's a
sure.
stereotype.
Well, it's a stereotype that almost everybody knows about this, But then research, I don't know what might have gone into it for them to have arrived at where they, got to. But I think a culture, if that's the case, then culture also plays a part in all of this, because I want to believe there are some countries that women are the providers for the men. Women take care of the men in their lives. Women go and marry them, do all the things, and rather marry them. So culturally, there might be something there that also might, contribute.
I get that. But obviously in Ghana, our culture is not that, women go
Our
and marry
culture is
men and all
diverse.
that. But we don't marry men.
But our
diverse.
culture allows room for men to feel like they are the prize.
All I said was that it is not women who go and marry men.
Hold on. That I wanted to add that as
I agree with
a further
you.
submission on what she was saying, that our culture allows some men to be perceived, or men to be perceived as the prize.
I agree with
so
you.
So you would
yeah.
find that once he feels like, okay, I'm between 2 women who like me, I would relax. If you like me, show me love more. So the person who shows me the most
wins
love will
me.
win.
And showing love means what? Taking care of him.
Yeah,
washing,
the person who takes care of
yes,
him
take care of
and
me.
prioritizes him is the person who
Yes.
wins. Now, I'm just wondering, how can anyone end up with anybody who thinks in that direction?
But people do.
Yeah, but the things we do for love, we can't question them.
People
Again,
do.
the things we do for love, we can't question them. But then again, it's for me, I think it depends on what you want. Some people find themselves in a situation where they are left with no choice. There isn't much they could do to sort of like upgrade themselves, and they are looking for opportunities. In looking for opportunities, what have you created for yourself in looking for opportunities? Your own chances. What have you created for yourself? I want to believe that we are all exposed. Now, I have humbly had the opportunity of living outside. And one of the things that I observed, living abroad, is the fact that you would see most parents, rich parents, After school, if you are a son or a daughter to them, after school, you have to volunteer to do something. Volunteer. It's either you are serving at the restaurant as a waiter or a waitress, or you are volunteering with a particular organization, and then, learning almost everything that you would need along the journey and all of that. So community service, you name it, from various, sectors, whatever you can do, there is that, that environment has been, that space is created, like for every child. Now, it's like, one, nurturing them from the beginning, right from the word go. My money is not your money. That's the culture. You have to learn to make your own money.
Yeah, and I've seen Steve Harvey say.
These are things,
and that is to prepare you that you need
to make your own
way. You need to have what it takes to spot opportunities.
Because otherwise you'll finish the money that
otherwise whatever I leave you will just go down
the drain.
I have seen people at organizations who started from security, security, and have risen to, trying to get things. So for me, that's what I'm saying, that you have no excuse unless you just think that, I'm okay where I find myself. It's up to you as a woman to decide whether you are okay with this life or not.
Which brings me to my next question. Why do we... Okay, what was I going to ask? Because he seems to know.
Which brings us to the topic.
Yes.
How do you cope with a lazy man? Don't cope. Don't cope. That's it. Go away. Leave.
The things we do for love. He might be lazy with work, providing for the house, but he may not be lazy in the middle of the night. He's absolutely
most relationships that you don't understand.
Better than any other person.
Yeah, he's a night shift.
The things we do for love. The things we do for love.
Oh yeah.
So this man is worth me taking care of.
Midnight yoga.
That is not love.
What is love for you?
That is not love.
So a friend of mine said, Harriet, for me, love is how I want to be loved.
Exactly. So how do you want to be loved?
For all of us.
If you don't think that as a human,
it's different from you. It's different for you as well.
I get you, but I think that there are some things that we should start demanding for ourselves. Like, you meet somebody, you have to speak to the person and find out if they are a good fit for you. If you discover that they are lazy, it's not now that you're coming to cope. At the discovery stage of the laziness, you say that, okay, I bow out sincerely. I don't think that this is my calling. I cannot do this.
Just a missed call.
I'm out.
Just a flash.
I'm out.
I'm gone.
I'm gone.
But there are women who stay with laziness. And I wonder...
I don't think they call them lazy, though.
Oh, you'll be surprised that they know that this man is lazy. I mean, no,
I can't speak to that.
They keep on saying, he's not working. He doesn't help in the house. When I get up in the morning, he'll play video game the whole day.
What have you done about? What's the threat of action? What's the next steps? Because people, human beings, without punishment.
So can we first try and establish why some women stay?
Well, I thought we already mentioned one.
I mean, you mentioned one.
Some women stay because, so that's it. Love itself is. Why would anyone put up with a lazy man?
Wait, let me rephrase the question. Put love aside. There are women who stay with men that are lazy. Not just because that's what I'm trying to get us to explore without saying what I think it is, So not just because of love. A lot of women stay with a lazy man because of the societal narrative that it is better to have any kind of man.
Any kind of man is better than
not
being
to have
single.
A man at all.
Anything is better than being single and divorced in our society.
So, exactly. So that's the point I'm trying to make. So then how do we address that? Because that's a whole changing of mindset. I mean, I've met women who are in their 30s who've said, I don't care the kind of man that I marry. I just want to get married. We may not be able to relate to that. It doesn't mean that it's not a reality out there.
It is a reality.
It is a reality.
It's happening. And there are people who will give anything to be married.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. I think that as a society we've been conditioned and we've raised ourselves into thinking that marriage is the ultimate. And without being married, if you're not married, we cannot respect you.
Yeah.
So that's where we need to start from. Changing our mindset and our perspectives about marriage, and normalize deciding that I don't want to get married if I've not found the person for me. People are single by choice because they've not found the person that is the yin to their yang.
Yeah.
We need to accept as a society that it's not everything. Marriage isn't everything.
We don't celebrate the single by choice concept.
We don't.
It's not
we
really
don't.
like
For us, it's okay. So you're a woman. You're already born into a system that thinks that you are second place. There is someone who is the authority figure, who is the man, who is the leader, born leader, automatic leader, the man. So you are already in second place, and the only way you can gain some social respect is by being married.
Yeah.
So no matter what a deadbeat person you are,
as long as you are
married, you are Mrs. Kuma or Mrs.
whatever
Johnson, you gain the respect of society, right? But we need to decide as women, as human beings, that okay, I don't need the marriage to get that respect that we're talking about. I can achieve in other areas of my life to still get the same social respect. I can achieve my career. I can achieve a lot of things with myself, develop myself to the point where external validation is not what I need to be fulfilled or satisfied as a human being.
I get that.
That is a decision that we all need to make. And if I'm speaking to somebody out there, just hear me. You don't need to be married to be fulfilled. If that's your goal, no problem. If you need that companionship for you to consider your life complete, that's also not a problem. Make sure that you are not sacrificing yourself in the process. Don't leave out yourself and focus solely about the person, and leave out what you stand to gain in the union.
Yeah.
It's important that you develop yourself and you reach your maximum potential. Some marriages can bring you away from your purpose.
Oh yeah.
It can take you away from God's intended purpose for your life, can derail you from your path that you're supposed to achieve excellence on, and put you on a totally different path that will frustrate you. So till you are convinced that this person works for me and ticks your boxes, don't go in.
Okay, just before so when you're done, I want us to talk about a little, we have just about 30 minutes more, but I want us to talk about whether men or women who are usually more lazy about love and relationships.
I can't answer that question.
So just what you were going to say, and then we'll move to that.
Well, I think, okay, so when we're done, well, let me just add.
Oh, you want to move to that?
That's a very interesting area. But, I was trying to dig out more when I received the topic from your producer. And, when I went on the internet searching for something under this, and I saw most of the articles, speaks against men. Being lazy as the laziest or being lazy. Most of the men out there, or men in general, you would find a lot of them being lazy compared to women. Okay. And I thought that was very interesting. So I was going to ask you, after treating this topic, are you looking at doing it
even
if you want to do maybe after marrying or dating a lazy man, would you also like to look at dating a lazy woman as well? Because some women also
Harriet
are very
fits
lazy.
in very well into the Strong and Sassy family. Her first show, she's already telling us what we should be talking about. Hi, Harriet, welcome. We would never have guessed this is your first time on the show. Wow, armchair consultant.
Just so the men don't think we are being biased.
The men think if you listen to us,
it's like we are always on their case.
No, if you listen to us, then you know that they think we are biased. But as much as we love them, this is a show for women. So,
well, guys, I tried. Now let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. Now she's come to host it too and say, it's fine. It's all right. So relationships. Somebody asked a question, actually. One of the messages was about disinterest versus laziness. And I think that's very more relationship-wise. So, what do you guys think? Do women work harder at relationships or men? Or who is lazy, who is not? When it comes to love, relationships, definitely not sex. I mean, we know who does most of the work there. But, yeah.
My hand has been up for quite some time now.
Wow.
Can I talk?
I'm tired already.
I think we do the job more than the men do.
Okay.
Because we've been taught to believe that we have to be chosen at the end of the day.
So we have to earn.
So we have to work
There's
extra.
an earning mentality. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is in all aspects of our lives.
Yeah. That's
Career, the home, everything. You have to go extra.
That's
Even
true.
with that, it is very difficult to be noticed.
Yeah.
So then, when this comes to, if in the context of relationship, that's what we've been made to believe. So we put in all the work.
Yeah.
I have to give my best. Probably somebody's competing with me out there. Now I have to be chosen. Why do we wait to be chosen? Why do we have to be chosen? Why not them? Why are we not choosing our men as to how I want to be loved? Who tick my boxes, as she said, and all of that. But we have to wait and rather be chosen.
This makes me really sad. And the reason why it makes me really sad is that I know so many women who feel like that. Like, we have to work to earn the love. We have to be a little bit more silent to earn, a little less opinionated, a little. And sometimes it goes on forever, because you see married women competing with women who don't exist in his world. But in your mind, it's like, I have to be this, and
it's a manipulative tool that some men use.
So do men worry about, like, I have to be this for her, otherwise?
I know, but we do.
It depends on the man. It depends.
Also
on
depends on the woman as well, doesn't it?
Yes,
the woman you're dealing with.
That's why I said I cannot answer the question directly or blanketly say that women work harder or men work harder. I think that in a relationship, right, it's two people who have decided to move together to create a family. It's two people who have decided to
in an ideal world.
Yes.
Sometimes a relationship is you are rich and I just need your money. So I'm just going to be nice to you.
But whatever it is, whether it's for your money or it's for whatever it is, it's for other gains, I am with you because I have decided to be with you for whatever reason. And we have decided that together we are moving forward.
Okay.
I don't have to work any extra than you do for the relationship to succeed. If you find that you are working too hard for the relationship, then you are in a wrong one.
Okay.
And I say that because it shouldn't be stressful. Like, you find the right person and you realize that it didn't have to be this tiring.
Yeah.
I saw some videos on TikTok, some women saying that, okay, now that our men are behaving well and we don't have anything to complain about, what do we do? Because there are men who are pulling their weight.
Yeah.
There are men who are giving their best and making sure that they have good relationships.
Yeah.
There are men whose priority is that their partners develop and they also developing themselves alongside. It's a personal development journey that you are making with someone. So I don't need to fight that I deserve you for my contribution in your life. Like, I am coming to add something to your life. That's how I approach relationships. I'm coming to add value to you. You are also going to add value to me.
We're all bringing something to the table.
We are both bringing something to the table. Okay? If I have to fight to show you that, I have to fight for you to approve, for me to add value to you. Hey.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry, but no. We don't do that over here.
No,
Not
I
on
get
this
that.
street.
There are those kinds of men out there, but what is the percentage? Let's look at it.
You mean the good men?
The good men, the ones that we term as good men because they tick all our boxes, because they love us just the way we would want to be loved. And so there are, but let me say that probably would be about less than 5% out there.
No, I think it's just a wrong match. I just think it's just a mismatch. Sometimes we are not patient for our perfect match or our right match.
I also think that sometimes it's also much of who is out there. It's who you are.
And what you attract.
No, it's not even what you attract so much, but yes, but this is me. And in my understanding of who I am, you have to be a certain way to step.
Exactly.
Because you see, relationships are constant power plays and constant negotiation. And the person who has the most power, in quotation marks, is the one who's willing to walk away.
Yep.
Most women don't want to walk away. And the men can smell it. Try being with somebody who knows and is very aware that they can lose you. That's when my life changed in terms of my relationships, is coming to a realization where I know in myself that if you lose me, yeah, and it shows in your... And suddenly you find that men step up. Yeah. So Steve Harvey says that a man will step up for who he wants to step up for.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean? So I think that it's time that we start to take the power away from the men.
Taking the power away. Let me share this.
The power back.
Let me share this briefly with you. A friend of mine was dating this guy, and then I think one time she had an experience with this guy, a very good one, and she decided to share.
Please, we don't understand what a good experience.
So I can really, it's like, well, let me just say,
it's okay.
You know,
It's
she had a great time, a very good time with a guy. And then she said, oh, you know what, let me just put it out there. You know what, apparently she isn't the only one dating this dude. So then it appears there is another person in this guy's life. And how did she know this? Because after she made something public, this other lady also
came and said that,
and also could easily identify the space and said, you know what, oh, blah 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 blah, and said, this is this is interesting. You know what happened? This other woman sent a long text message to this guy and told the guy that and sends a long text message to this other woman, telling the other woman that, you know what, I'm perfectly fine that he goes out and comes in late. I know his weakness. He's into women. He's a womanizer. But I'm fine with it. And I know, you know what, he's just playing with you. And so he will come back to me. And she has accepted that like wholeheartedly.
Wow. Okay.
And she's been in this
for a long
kind
time.
of relationship for like years, and still I'm sure she's waiting for the ultimate, which is marriage. And I'm asking myself, with all the red flags boldly written, still,
still, please. Let me take a few of your messages before we go. A lazy man is a man who is sluggish and not mentally inspired to take initiative that will earn him and sometimes others a reward. That's Niaite. Nana Kwesi says about excuses, some people truly and honestly do not know what they want to do with their lives. Would you term it laziness? Your big picture is someone's small picture, and that can't be termed laziness. Fair enough. Joseph says, good evening. Some ladies decide to stay single because they think they have wealth. So what at all will a man do with it? Okay. This is a good discussion. It happened to me 12 years ago. He's so lazy that instead of him going to look for a job, which most time I prepared the CV for him, he will rather go and sit at the church premises. Later, he ended up saying he's working there now and now a pastor. I rented, paid bills and all that. Now divorce. Sometimes parenting also counts as well. Equia, kindly educate the young ones. Thank you, Equia. Kekeli says, why should someone date or marry a lazy person in the first place? Arise Africa says, this person's lazy and you still want to cope. You will die young. Ibrahim says, no woman will date a lazy man in the first place because money won't be involved. That's shade. This one says, well, why I go date or marry lazy man? I like to know the difference between laziness and disinterest from Maunya. All right, unfortunately, time's up. So I think we're done with the messages. Maxwell Adwadba is coming up with the news at 8 o'clock. I'd like to say a very big thank you to you, Harriet. Thank you for joining us. We enjoyed you. And we'd love to have you back sometime. Esinam, thank you so much.
Thank you too.
For always making time for us. Always.
Oh, I got
we
you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
And let us know when you have something exciting coming up.
Very soon.
We're looking forward to that. Thank you
Coming
guys.
soon.
Coming soon, right? Thank you guys so much for staying tuned in. And of course, for joining us every Wednesday from 7 o'clock. We appreciate you so much. If you missed the show, you can catch it on Facebook. Until next week, really. So my name is Enimado. I hope that you have a really great week. Back on Wednesday. Stay safe.